procession walks away. My fear and trepidation, a witness to transformation. The cries below unceasing, until grace will let them rest. Find me in the space between us, where I am lost and drifting. Will you tell me why? Here ever waiting, spirits come to whisper, where I am lost and dreaming. Will you ask my name? The beginning and the end, in the space between, when you are there to greet me, will you tell me why? Here I rest now, devoted I remain, where I am lost and dreaming, alone in reverie. Hearted in the guise of blessed vision that led me from perdition. When I needed you, you came, rendered and unworthy of perfidy and shame. In arms of recognition, while consorts look away. Find me in the space between us, where I am lost and drifting. Will you tell me why? Here ever waiting, spirits come to whisper, where I am lost and dreaming. Will you ask my name? The beginning and the end, in the space between, when you are there to greet me, will you tell me why? Here I rest now, here I rest now, where I am lost and dreaming, alone in reverie.
Good evening, and welcome back to the Dwarven Fortress of Esmulrakust, which last weekend suffered a goblin siege, in which the goblins discovered the kennels that I had to abandon after a previous elven ambush had slaughtered all of my dogs, well, most of my dogs. And found that it made, as Diziat described it, an excellent tunnelling lounge in which they would be conveniently protected from my fixed defences, while having a convenient way to tunnel into the fixed defences. But thanks also to Diziat, we had arranged that by a simple pull of a lever, I could connect the northern bolt thrower turret, I suppose, into the barbican full of traps, rather than to the main fortress. And so the goblins, upon breaking in, or rather the trolls initially, because they're the ones who dug the hole, I think. And having then constructed a downward staircase, which seems a bit extravagant when I'd given them a perfectly good ramp, but at least I thought I'd given them a perfectly good ramp. Yes. But now it has a staircase. Then they found themselves in a room full of traps and covered by another bolt thrower. And so, yes, they didn't manage to get any further than that, and all was well. Unfortunately, this means that now we basically had to finish the siege by sending a squad, this lot, out to kill the last 4 goblins who were wandering around looking rather confused and carrying a battering ram. Thank you, Gareth. So yes, now we have an awful lot of tidying up to do, as is often the way after a siege. I'm wondering if it would be simpler if we didn't, if I didn't bury my dwarves and just then I could just destroy everything in the corpses category, rather than carefully separating out the dwarves who should not be atom smashed and the goblins who should. Like if we just atom smashed everyone and constructed memorials, then this would not be such an issue. But it would involve an awful lot of constructing memorials, so maybe it would not be very helpful. Anyway, so I'm now back to doing the traditional thing of finding everything that looks like it wants disposing of and tagging it for disposal, so that the dwarves will get rid of it before it stinks up the place even more, since it's already rotting quite badly. I mean, some of them haven't started rotting yet, presumably the ones who died most recently. Oh, I think they brought Moneras this time. Why are we dumping that skeleton? That's obviously wrong. And conveniently, I don't think any dwarves got killed this time. Like, we did actually successfully keep them out. I even managed to abandon the bolt thrower fast enough. Partly, I think, because the trolls insisted on building a new staircase. Yes, indeed. We do hope you like miasma. Gareth has recently been playing a game with miasma in it. Why do we have a apparent troll called Vukar? That sounds like a very dwarven name to me. Maybe you have some interesting history behind you, which sadly we will never get to find out, because you came here and tried to invade a reasonably well defended fortress. Right, nearly done. Something's already tagged for dumping here, which makes me a bit confused. Maybe I did those from the map earlier. Oh no, they're just the previous page. Right, you should also dump any rotting body parts at least. Or indeed ones that look like they might be about to rot. It seems that there are quite a few I mean, I suppose the fact that that's the same name probably means they're from the same creature, so... Seem to be surprisingly few like rotting bits of goblin here. It seems that most of the goblins actually managed to stay intact, which is nice. I think ears may be less prone to rotting away entirely than I'd expected. Right, can I remember how much of the stuff we've done? So the bolt throwers are not quite in a sane state. Siege operators, we generally ask that legendary siege operators not actually practice siege operating. I think the accomplished one was for some reason weird. I can't quite remember. We should lower the other half of the outer drawbridge. What's the state of the Barbican Wagon Bridge? It still needs to be extended. Let's just look up in my scripts where that's meant to be. That means left, right. Oh, left. Sorry, I think I'm speaking slightly too quietly here. Where am I? Yes, Barbican Wagon Bridge. Yes, that lever needs pulling as well. But I think the inner drawbridge is open. Good. Although the one-way valve is closed, that should be fixed as well. Right. Let's check the state of... We should pause the main burrow. If we have any interesting pastures, we should do something about them, but we don't seem to, as in there's no one assigned to our main outdoor pasture. Right. Just unpause and let things happen. Mostly the disposal of rotting goblin bits. No, there is need for celebration. The forces of the failed dungeons have shattered against filled tombs. I guess it could be considered grimly satisfying. The other two just say there is no need for celebration. And now we're going to get a load of useless messages. Right, the wagon bridge has at least closed, which should help to clear some of the miasma. But there are a lot of items to be dumped. Oh, what I should do is that hatch. Did I ever get around to connecting up that hatch? So what state's that in? That isn't paused, but that hatch is currently a perfectly ordinary hatch cover because I need to connect a lever to it. Do we have a lever for the purpose? Yes, we do, right. Actually, let's make that quite a high priority because it will make things work a lot better. In the meantime, we could pause that rubbish dump so that we don't get things being piled in there. Things are going weirdly slowly. 15 frames per second is not normal. Just press some buttons and see if it makes things better. That's a bit better. Right. So we should probably rebuild the wall here at the very least. Seems that the dwarves are slightly preferring moving crossbow bolts around to moving dead goblins around, which is slightly annoying. Though they are throwing dead goblins down here too, so I can't complain very much. Right, so I observed that the goblins did attempt to dig through in several places into the Barbican, which I didn't really want them to do. So we might want to fill in those gaps as well. But that's probably not so urgent. Right, that wall has been built. Now what I think I should do is to actually make some fortifications there so that if someone does get into this area, and I think I should now wall it off as well, at least for now, they will at least be able to be shot by the bolt thrower. Right, and we will put a wall in there as well, and that should help matters. Why is there a miasma in here anyway? There isn't any like actually dead creatures, are they? No. I kind of assume that the miasma will eventually clear from this wall too. Yes, there it goes. So that linkage is now installed, so now I can pull that lever. Once that lever's been pulled there, then I can re-enable that garbage dump, which will make dumping a lot faster. Because then all of the dead things outside can just be dropped down this hole, at least in theory. Yes. So we can see that dead goblins get hurled down here and then occasionally automatically crushed. So everything is being very sluggish today. I don't quite know why. Maybe there's just too many objects on the map. Well, we're trying to deal with that. Right, so now the tunnelling lounge is slightly less accessible for invading goblins. And yes, now the dwarves have got themselves organised to start throwing goblin parts down this hole, which is a lot faster. Oh, I haven't made my mouse pointer enormous, have I? Let's fix that. One moment, you can't see what I'm doing here, but there. I assume nothing exciting happened while I was away. Okay, we may be short of metal again. Yes, this is a reasonably efficient way of disposing of all the dead goblins that accumulate out the front of the fortress. Oh, we should also unforbid that bolt thrower so that it can actually be loaded. Possibly we need slightly more than one dwarf assigned to siege operating in that case. Maybe we should allow slightly more of the various siege operators to actually do some work. if nothing else, to get the bolt throwers loaded. Well, so many stuff goblins have left behind. Right, we're getting to the point where there aren't many dead goblins left lying around. To the extent that probably if we do find any, it's because I missed them in the inventory. Not all of them though. So now we're getting to the point where we're like picking off individual squares that appear to have bits of the invaders in that need to be trashed. Like mostly troll ears, apparently. Why do trolls keep losing their ears in my weapon traps? I suspect there are slightly more body parts that need to be actually extracted from the traps. Possibly they only need to be reloaded, but so there ought to be a door installed here. And we should also clear out these gaps and then, well, clear out this gap at least, which hasn't quite been dug through all the way. And then install some new walls. That's not a wall. I want a reinforced wall. Anywhere where anyone has dug anything, obviously we should reinforce the wall the next time we build it. No, that's not a reinforced wall either. No. Partly this is because there isn't a key for a reinforced wall, so I can't just like press the correct key sequence. Right, so now yes, that's that set correctly constructed. Like, it's a rather thick wall, but they did dig through it last time, so clearly there's some desire to make it, to get through there, that's worth strengthening it for, or possibly against. Dispose of a few more bits. Oh, there's a tooth there as well. These goblins leaving their teeth lying around. Oughtn't to be allowed. Right, so that looks like at least the majority of the dead goblins have been, and trolls and such, have been dealt with. Oh, we should reinstate the bridge, shouldn't we? Yes. So that it's possible to get to the north bolt thrower without needing to go via the Barbican. There we are, right. I mean, there is then all of this weird construction where, like, we have an upward slope there, then that which tried to be a staircase but didn't work, then a bit of floor that gets across to there, where there's then a staircase down to here, and then again there was a perfectly good slope, but they've reconstructed it to produce they've constructed a staircase over it. But, like, I don't really think it's worth the hassle of dismantling all that. I think that will be fine. So let us now go round unforbidding any objects that have been left lying around. Has happened in that square? Oh, I think maybe someone tried to climb down into, or maybe climb out of the moat and did not have a fun time of it, because it turns out that halfway down the front wall of the moat is still very much within the range of the bolt throwers. Good, someone is cooking masterpieces. So, as is often the way, the world is utterly full of second-hand armour. That section of fortification doesn't seem to have actually ended up being carved, so let's try doing it again. P.S. There appears to be a dead goblin up here who shouldn't be there. Are these bolt throwers now properly loaded? Right, good. And the Barbican one. Yes, right. Then we can turn down the number of siege operators to just the novice one, who I think we are teaching how to do it. That still appears to have some teeth in that square. Don't think we want to keep any of those. Oh, I think we have a prisoner of war, don't we? Down here. Yes, there is a goblin cage there. Containing... Oh, that's a wheelbarrow. Containing Tosps Namos. So we should probably have them disposed of. I think now mostly the dwarves are bringing in the spare armour that the goblins have left behind. I am slightly worried that we have this large enclosed open area that the goblins could break into, but maybe they won't bother. And to be fair, it worked fine last time. Still confused as to why no one is turning those into fortifications, but we'll live. Unlike the goblins. Well, if we want to build anything green, the invaders left behind some olivine. They also brought some bituminous coal blocks, which is kind of silly because there are much better things you can do with bituminous coal than turn it into blocks. I think we're still... Are these guys all storing items in bins, or are they doing something more useful? Okay, it's a mixture of reloading the weapon traps down here and collecting rubbish from down here and taking it up to put in bins for storage, and maybe giving to passing traders to get it off the map. Maybe we should just start insisting that traders take everything we have lying around that we don't want. Have we got enough spears? Did they bring some spearmen? I'm not sure. Appear to have at least some spears. 2, 4, 6, 9, 10 that were left behind by the elves that I simply haven't got around to using. We've got enough for another batch. Yes. Yes, there are some quite grouchy dwarves around, aren't there? Maybe we should do something about that soon. I suspect they've all been exposed to miasma. And so we're all feeling a bit grumpy. Oh, and we should install another door here in the rubbish dump so that people don't accidentally walk into it. Hoping that we correctly install that door on the correct side. Don't think there's any danger they're actually going to get that wrong. Yawn. Right, let's have a look at what's going on with our unhappy dwarves then. So we have a siege operator. They're often unhappy. So we've got Lorbam Fathfash. We should check whether any of these are not already in the buttery brunch. Very few of them are, right. Indeed, we could have a quick look and say, are the two who are in the buttery brunch particularly unhappy? They're still somewhat unhappy. We'll leave them there for now. At least, yes, they both are. One of them is seriously unhappy, right. So, Lorbam Fathfash and Olon Stulber. And Karol Kikrostushul and Udib Libash Ginet. Kadol and Udib. Two different spellings of Kadol there. And Kilob Dorognakis and Melbil Iden Bokbon, who's already in the military, which might be slightly unfortunate if we pull them out then. Well, Kilob should certainly. Kilob and Melbil. Okay, yes, we can't put Melbil in here without effort. Right, so having assigned them to the buttery brunch should help with their happiness eventually. Because they should become military and then be unable to train because they don't have anywhere to train and should start doing other things instead of training. Right, since I think there's not much more to be disposed of down that rubbish dump, let us pause that rubbish dump and close the lid so that no one falls down it. I am kind of tempted to say that things made out of human, that jewellery made out of human bones and teeth, maybe we don't actually have a use for in this fortress. Dog bones, not so much of a problem. Okay, yes, you can name your shield if you really want to. Right, so now all the happiest people are actually officially in the military. Someone is demonstrating how to study, someone is praying, someone is meditating, several people are picking up stuff. This might help them. We have a god called Nekol the Phantom of Bone. That's a very silly name. Our stray water buffalo calf should be assigned to a pasture. Right. That will help a little bit. You do not consider it appropriate to make amulets out of dwarf bone, or rings out of dwarf teeth, or earrings out of human teeth. Or crowns out of human nails. If you bring such objects to our fortress, we will destroy them. That was a water buffalo, wasn't it? Yes, I think so. Okay, this square just full of teeth? Yes, because we actually accidentally disposed of some things here, maybe? Possibly. Let us not mark those for destruction just yet. Let's first re-enable the outdoor rubbish dump so that we don't have to carry them all the way inside before we dispose of them. Oh, I'm apparently getting very faint, yes. Let me, yeah, I am, yeah, I'm speaking a little bit softer than usual. I can probably turn up the volume somewhere. Yes, well, I can't turn it up much more now. I'm running out of headroom on that, at least that volume control. Right, now we can re-enable that. I could probably find somewhere to insert a compressor into my audio pipeline, and then I wouldn't have to carefully adjust my volume occasionally. I bet you're not imposing a ban on exporting anything we care about. No, well, bracelets we might, but can't remember if we get into trouble for destroying bracelets. I don't think we do. Right, so now that we've enabled the outdoor rubbish dump, I think we can reasonably dump all of the contents of that square. Kias keep turning up and stealing things we don't want, that's fine. Right, now an enormous mob of dwarves have come out, each of them planning to pick up one tooth and throw it into the rubbish dump. Right, that's done. Now we can turn this rubbish dump back off again and close the lid. There's now not an enormous pile of teeth on this square. There is for some reason a quantity of tin bars embedded in the wall here. Don't quite know how that happened. So one of our plans was that we would put a new kennel somewhere that was slightly less easy to break into, which was here, which was foiled by some difficulty with building the bridge. So I'm going to give that another go. See if I can construct a more useful bridge. Also, we appeared to have a shortage of silver. I think we usually make silver by smelting tetrahedrite. Not at that smelter we don't. Ah, right, no. Tetrahedrite is scheduled on the basis of smelting copper, because that's what it mostly produces, which means that we do actually have, like, if we start mining all the tetrahedrite and smelting it, we'll just end up with a vast surplus of copper. So ideally we want to find some silver ores, some native platinum there. Maybe we should quickly dig that out. So ideally we want to find some silver ores that don't give copper, though to be fair the alternative is galena, which gives lead. So it may not be very convenient. Right, so that's that random lump of platinum marked for mining while we're in the area. While I see whether we have, I mean, horn silver and native silver exist as pure silver ores. But we may just have to accept getting an excess of tetrahedrite in order to get the silver, not tetrahedrite, copper in order to get the silver. Or an excess of lead if we go mining galena instead. Because I don't know that we have anything else that we can sensibly use as a silver ore. I suppose we could just start studying everything with lead as well. Probably won't go very badly. We have, I suppose, also got the lower caverns that we could explore and see if they've got any good ores in them. By which I mean the second level. We haven't yet attempted to penetrate the third level of the caverns. That's all just cobaltite, which isn't very helpful. Yeah, okay, we are just going to get extra lead and copper, aren't we? These are all just tetrahedrite and galena. What's that? It's, oh, there's some native silver. I mean, it's not in a very easy place to get to. Wow, that's a tall cavern. I'm really not sure how to get to that. Maybe we won't bother just yet. I think maybe I should just change the rules so that we smelt. That area might actually be reachable. So that we smelt tetrahedrite if we're short of either silver or copper or something like that. Where was that native platinum that I was busy mining? Oh, there, yes. Wasn't much of it, sadly. But I suppose we can add more metals to our blingery, can't we? All right, we're already studying things with platinum, apparently. Yes, okay. That is quite a list of decorations. Are any of those in platinum, though? Oh, yes. An exceptionally designed image of anvils in platinum. Right, so let's see if we can adjust this work order so that we don't I don't know that there's a way for me to say this or that. I can totally add both of those. I suppose what I could do is simply add a second job, smelt tetrahedrite if we don't have enough silver. As well as smelt tetrahedrite if we don't have enough copper. Similarly, we could add a smelt galena if we don't have enough silver job. And we should therefore have a job for studying with lead. once we've made somewhere to put lead. We usually do 5, right? For reasons I don't quite understand. Right, there we are. Now we will try to stud things with lead where possible. Resume constructing that. Don't be scared of the Kia's. Pinkbee says, presumably we're not studying cookware with lead. No, we only stud a fairly small range of things, mostly furniture. On which subject we're out of doors again. So I have scheduled making more doors, which will then get studied with all kinds of metals. Just do a quick check that we aren't running out of bedrooms. There don't actually appear to be any unassigned bedrooms at the moment, which is a bit weird. So possibly I should head down into the residential layers and carve some more bedrooms. I think this is time to go one level deeper. Oops. I mean, we probably don't actually need to dig out that large an area, but if we are going to be turning out to dig the new bedrooms out in a tetrahedrite vein, I suppose I can't complain. So do I dig out the minerals that I found down here and then construct walls? Yeah, that's probably sensible, isn't it? I mean, aside from microcline, which is not that valuable. So then we can carry on digging out interesting minerals because there's some gems there. Then there's some more tetrahedrite. Yeah, go on. Struck orthoclase. That's not very exciting either. So now let's try to produce some nice regular bedroom architecture. Ah, sorry, I went several Z levels deeper than I intended there. Dear, we're getting a bit laggy now. So conveniently, those bedrooms are mostly dug out already, and actually what we mainly need to do is build some walls for them. There we go. Right. Obviously, we construct all the walls of these new bedrooms out of porcelain, as is traditional. I mean, we could also pave the floors for at least a little bit. So probably the morganite cavern floor there can just be polished. Okay, we haven't actually got enough porcelain bricks to do the whole floor. I appreciate I don't usually bother smoothing the bedrooms in this fortress, but You can try to make the new bits better than the old bits. Do we actually have people whose job is smoothing things? So that's masonry, and so stone cutters are not actually responsible for smoothing. Is anyone responsible for smoothing? Does anyone know what it involves? Is that engraving? Possibly, in which case we have 0 engravers. Which might be why no engraving's happening. So we're going to need some doors in due course, but we've used all our nice decorated doors, so well, there's a bedroom at least. I mean, there are some nice doors down here now. They just need to get properly decorated. That one's not bad, actually. The cinnabar door could be installed. Some wall has got suspended eyes, that one. It's a very well decorated cinnabar door. I'm sure it's perfectly safe. What? No. So, has anyone claimed this bedroom yet? I mean, it's only been here a very short while, no. I think they only claim it when they need somewhere to sleep anyway. So now we have access into the new kennel. Let's have another go at building a bridge. See if anyone can actually build that, because it's like fairly quiet now. Lots of people have no job. So the task exists, but no one's currently doing it. Doesn't seem to be anything for the smoothing or fortification making, which is confusing me. Let's install another bed to make another bedroom, simply because we can. So that now we do at least have 2 unoccupied bedrooms at the top of the list. in case someone thinks they need them. Right, anything else I should be doing? I'm feeling slightly tired, so might go to bed fairly soon. Yeah, that bridge still seems to be unpopular. I don't understand it. Possibly I should experiment with other possible bridges there and see what they turn out like. See which ones we can build and which ones we can't. Oh, who are you? We're an incoming diplomat. Well, presumably chasing the mayor. Baroness. Oh, the Baroness meets with the diplomat Maffol Thingamy. Greetings, noble dwarf. There is much to discuss. Such a pleasant place you've carved out for yourselves. There is much to share. Okay, is that it? Yep, apparently you've just told us some of what's going on out there in the world, as if we care. Right, there are dwarves sleeping in each of those 2 new bedrooms, which we should probably take as an indication that we need to set up another pair. I have no idea which are the best doors. Let's choose one that has particularly good decorations. Well, I'll make these bedrooms at least, because that way more people will be able to sleep in them. There we go. Right. So yes, we've successfully cleaned. Oh, good. The fortifications got built there. We have successfully cleaned out cleaned up from that last goblin assault. Oh, good. We've even got someone. Are you the person who was assigned as Olin Della Thingamy? Right, no, you are a stone cutter. In that case, I'm going to... Oh, you're also an engraver, though. Okay, maybe it is actually engravers we need. Possibly we could do with slightly more engravers. Let's make our stone carver also into an engraver. Right, so yes, these bedrooms are now being somewhat improved. We've got a load more tetrahedrite. So I think for now we will say everything is calm and peaceful here in Filled Tombs, and we're awaiting the arrival of the next batch of elves and or goblins. But until then, I think it's time for me to save and to say good night. Good night.